So, I know I haven't done too many Texan specific video, but I have one that I want to do right now. Uh, Last one I done, I'm pretty sure was Bill O'Brien getting fired. This one is going to be about Isaiah Coulter, which I'm pretty sure most Texans fans know that name. Probably not all, but most should know this name. There's a lot of people who aren't Texas fans that don't know this name. He was the wide receiver that we drafted. For which round, fourth, sixth, something. We drafted him in the draft, and he was a really good receiver from Rhode Island. And he's 6'2", 1 inch taller than Hopkins, an inch shorter than Andre Johnson. And again, I have a lot of faith he's going to be a great receiver. Why? Because the Texans kind of have a history of drafting pretty good receivers. We drafted Andre Johnson, we drafted DeAndre Hopkins, we drafted Will Fuller. All three ended up being elite level receivers. We have not had a season where we did not have an elite level receiver. We have been spoiled as Texans. We went from Andre Johnson to DeAndre Hopkins. We have been spoiled. Will Fuller is not as good as either of them, mostly because he's injury prone, but as we saw, he is still elite level. Against the Lions, he can have really great games. He's a really good receiver. Now we got Isaiah Coulter, who we got in the draft, who could be a really great talent. He's shown to be a really good talent. He could be that kind of grab it. He's pretty fast, but he can also just potentially just grab it from defenders, like Andre Johnson and like DeAndre Hopkins. Like just say he's covered, but you throw it to him and he still has a shot to catch it. That's the kind of receiver we've been kind of wanting. We've been missing throughout the season. We've had a bunch of people trying to get open, but no real number one true receiver. Will Fuller was supposed to be that. He's suspended. Here's the thing: a lot of people are angry at Will Fuller being suspended. I'm not, because of Isaiah Coulter. He's going to be getting some playing time. We dropped Kenny Stills. Probably not going to get him back. We might, but we might not. We traded away DeAndre Hopkins. We don't have him. That one I'm still angry about. But after that, we dropped Kenny Stills. Not too angry. We've and Fuller is suspended, and who else? Cobb is on the injured reserve list. So Cobb is injured. Fuller is suspended. Stills we've dropped. That leaves Isaiah Coulter. And why am I happy about this kind of situation where it forces him to get some playing time? Well, because I already know at this point we're not going to be making the postseason. If we do, we're not going to be going to the Super Bowl. It'd be a miracle at this point. I'm more interested in how the future is going to look. We may not have Will Fuller next year. So, I don't care how he looks unless we're going to be getting him back. He could look great. He could not. But if he's not going to be on our team next year, which is a possibility, I don't really care how he looks. I want to know who I know is going to be on the team next year. Isaiah Coulter is going to be on the team next year. He could be a potential receiver that could help us. We know Cook's kind of what he's going to be. We know Fuller what he's going to be. We know Cobb what he's going to be. We know Stills what he's gone. We know these different receivers and what they're going to be. We know QT what kind of receiver. We don't know Isaiah Coulter. I want to see what he's going to be, what kind of receiver he's going to be, how it's going to translate into the NFL. Yes, it's not exactly his first game. It's not going to probably be the best one to judge him on. Again, it's going to be a series, whether it be like he goes against terrible defense or good defense. First game, not going to judge him based on this first game. He's going up against a pretty good defense. Watson may not rely on may not rely on Coulter that much. Watson may not throw it to Coulter. Coulter may have a little bit of problems because, again, the Colts, they have a good defense. So this is going to be a tough first game for our rookie receiver. But again, we're going to be able to see what it looks like. This is the future. This year, our year is done, okay? but we need to prepare for the future at this point, and that's what Isaiah Coulter is going to be. We're going to be looking at him, seeing what he's going to bring for our future. As we're looking at a new head coach, as we're looking at a new GM, we're going to be looking at what Isaiah Coulter brings, so we know exactly what we're going to need this offseason. Are we going to need to bring Will Fuller back? How badly are we going to need Will Fuller back? What are we going to need to draft a different receiver because this was not working out? He might be great, he might not be. We haven't seen him play in the NFL. He was great in college. He was a great receiver on Rhode Island. We haven't seen him play. We need to know. We need to know for the future. I'm sorry, JJ Watt, but this year is just our year's done for this year. We need to prepare for the future. We could be again. We could bounce back next year. We really could. If this receiver works out, maybe get a good receiver in the offseason, maybe keep Will Fuller. We'll have this offense is good. This is a good offense. Use the draft, shore up that defense. We'll be back next year. Next year we'll come out strong, swinging, with a good head coach, back in the playoffs. Could be a Super Bowl contender next year. Could be. I'm not saying we will be, but we could be. But again, we kind of need to know what we have now, and we kind of need to know what we're going to have going into the off season, and that's we need to know what we have in Isaiah Coulter. We need to know what we have in these rookies we drafted. Isaiah Coulter could be the future. He could become one of our top receivers. He could be the number one receiver. We don't know yet. Let's see how he does. I know I see a lot of people angry, crying, going, "Oh, even when the Texans win, they don't win because Fuller is suspended." I was kind of hopeful that if we won out, we might have a chance of making the playoffs. But look at the schedule. We're playing the Colts twice. We're probably going to split that because it's 2 games in 3 weeks. That's typically a split. Typically, not always, but normally that's how when you split. So maybe 8-8 record, being extremely hopeful. But we also play the Titans again, and it's just not exactly a bright spot we want to be in. A lot of stuff needs to fall into place, and I doubt that's going to happen. Next year we have a shot. Once we make the playoffs too, a lot of stuff's going to need to fall in our place. We got the Steelers who are on a roll. We're going to have to somehow try to beat the Ravens as well. The Chiefs are going to be a problem. It's no matter what. We're not in a situation where we are ready to just go on a run right now. I'm not saying we need to completely do a full-on complete rebuild yet. JJ Watt definitely doesn't want to do that. Just see what we have for next year. We could be back in it next year. Next year we could very well easily be Super Bowl contenders. Our offense was good as it was. It really was. But again, Will Fuller, we may not even get back next year. But we need to see. So we need to see what we have in Isaiah Coulter. We dropped Kenny Stills, Randall Cobb, QT. We know what we have in them. We might look around, maybe get another receiver if we really need it. If Isaiah Coulter is not really working, and then just try to fix up that defense. Get a good defensive coordinator. Get a good head coach with a defensive mind. It's not difficult to turn this team into a Super Bowl contender next year. We got a great offense. Just look at what we have and prepare for next year. That's basically all I gotta say. That's why I'm not angry about Will Fuller being suspended. I go, okay, I'm kind of angry about it because he got suspended for supposedly he was just taking medication, which is, whatever. I guess it's against the rules, but like he was taking medication for something. It's just whatever. Don't want to let's just not get into that. But the whole thing of Will Fuller and being out of the way so Coulter can get some playing time, I'm not upset about it. I want to see what he brings to the table. I want to see Coulter play. I want to see this kid play. This is good for us. A lot of people may not look at this and go, "Oh, this is terrible." Yes, it's terrible for this year, but we weren't really that our odds of making a Super Bowl run were like less than 1% at this point. Okay? Yes, our defense is getting better, but it's not perfect yet. We could get a few pieces in the draft. Our O line maybe do something there. I don't. We might maybe make it better, but not do too much. Chemistry is kind of important there, so we got some good offensive linemen. Watson has been doing pretty good. Offense is good. Don't do too much. Maybe get a receiver. But again, I want to see what Coulter brings to the table. I and I know I'm not the only one that's thinking this. And I know there's one Texan I do know that's saying that's looking at the situation with Isaiah Coulter and saying there's a possibility of an upset against the Colts. And it's right. If Coulter works out, our defense has improved. It's still not perfect, but our defense has improved over the last few games. We've gotten turnovers, we've forced turnovers, we've made stops, and our offense is really great. Now, if Coulter works out, we could still run the table. It could be great for us. Either way, it doesn't matter. We'll see what we have for next year. This is important. This next few games, even if we miss the playoffs, they are important for the Texans' future because we get to see what we have for the future. We get to see Isaiah Coulter for the future. So this is not a this is the end for us. We no, don't give up. Let's see what we have for next year. And there's still a chance we can run the table if Coulter works out and our offense is still super elite, which is possible because Watson is a really great quarterback and we still have some good receivers. And again, our defense has been steadily getting better. We could still somehow slip into the playoffs. The odds are not in our favor. It has not been since we started the season 0-4. No, it has not been since we went. What was it? 2-6, 2-7, 3-7, 4-7. This is the first time we won 2 games in a row. All right, we're 4-7. It's not like we're. It's not in our favor. You we you got a little bit of hope, and so you're outraged about Fuller getting suspended for 6 games. Going, why? Like, it was. We've already been. It's not exactly in our favor. Even if we had Fuller, the odds of us making the playoffs are still extremely slim. We gotta somehow. It's odds of us winning division is even smaller. Our best chance is somehow for the Colts to collapse and the Titans to do a little bit worse for us to beat them once. Colts to collapse, we somehow sweep them, and that'd be 3 wins there, and that would help us a little bit in our standings. That's like what we won't need. We need other teams to just fall apart for us to make the playoffs. It's not just us doing good. We need other teams to fall apart. Future. The future is just as important as the now, especially whenever we're not doing well right now. Yes, I know we don't need to tank because, well, I mean, we don't have a draft pick. It's going to the Dolphins. But it doesn't hurt to see what we have for the future, and that's just what this video is just about. It's I don't care if we win, I don't care if we lose, I don't care if we make the playoffs this year or not. If we make the playoffs, I'll be so excited. I'll be cheering, I'll be jumping up and down. But if we miss, you should all have been, all of us. I'm seeing all this outrage on Twitter. You should have all been prepared to miss the playoffs as soon as we started the season 0-4. We should have been 1-3. Okay, honestly, the team that we probably should have beat was the Steelers. As soon as we lost to the Steelers, I know they're 11-0 right now, but as soon as we lost to the Steelers, I said we're gonna lose to the Vikings. We've never beaten the Vikings before. This is not new news, and there were another team that was 0-3. It's just, I just knew we were going to lose to them just based on how things were set up. And we went 0-4. O'Brien got fired. It was a really good day. But come on, guys. We should have known. You should have been prepared for this. You should have been prepared for this. All this outrage, all of this shock, just calm. It's not the end of the world yet. We still have next year. And by next year, our window isn't closed. That'd be our window opening up because of Isaiah Coulter. We will see what he has. Our defense is getting a little bit better. Fix the defense up a little bit more in the draft. And next year, we could very well be Super Bowl contenders. I've said the same thing multiple times. But this is just... need to drive that point home. Texans are not done. They're maybe done this year, but next year we could be very easily back winning division, and we could make our first Super Bowl, win our first Super Bowl. Next year could be the year for us. Next year could be the year. We just got to see what we have right now.